What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the show. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to handle being in a tight spot financially inside of your handmade or your woodworking business. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the channel. So grateful for your time and your attention as always. And in today's video, I want to talk about what to do when you're in a tight spot financially inside of your business. And here's the deal. If you have ever tried to grow a business, you've been here. I have been here. I will be here again. And I want to be completely honest with you. This month in Iron by Iron Woodwork has been a slower month. Our sales are a little bit down. We've had some challenges that we've faced inside of our shop. And so what that ends up doing is it puts a little bit of pressure on our cash flow. We don't have as much money flowing in as we normally do. And so I want to talk to you about really my thought process that I've used every time that I've encountered this, and we've encountered this multiple times as we've tried to grow our business. By the grace of God, we've always figured it out. But I want to give you really the thought processes that I use to make good decisions during this time where you're feeling the stress, you're feeling the pressure of not having as much cash, and how to make good decisions when you're doing that. A lot of people, they bury their head in the sand when things get stressful, and it's a terrible recipe for success. You need to have your eyes wide open so that you can make good decisions, okay? So I've got 5 things for you to get yourself out of a cash flow crisis when you're in a crisis. Now, this does not need to be normal activity. This is only a 1 to 2 week spurt. And so number one, first thing that we do across the company is that we implement a spending freeze. So no more money going out. No more money going out unless it's just something that you absolutely have to have in order to finish a project that you're going to collect more money on. So number one is a spending freeze. Nobody's spending money. Or if we are, we're all talking about it. You as the CEO or the owner, you need to know about it. Number two, this is so important, and so many people miss this, and it's to get a clear picture on what cash is flowing into your business and when. So one of the number one things that you need to do is, if you're in a cash flow bind, you need to be able to look at your upcoming orders. You need to look at whatever sales, whatever quotes you have out. You need to be able to say, okay, we have 3 orders coming up over the next 2 weeks, and if I get these 3 orders done, I'm going to have, $8,000 coming in, okay, or whatever that number might be. Then you need to say, what other cash can I relatively confidently predict is going to come in from sales? So we have this many quotes out, and based off of that, these are my hottest leads. These are ones I feel the most confident about. Let's say that half of those close. Let's say that that's $10,000 in sales, and I would collect half of that in front half deposits. Okay, so $5,000 there. So conservative estimate, if we do everything as we think that we should be able to, we would have $13,000 of cash flowing into the business in the next 2 weeks. Running that analysis, understanding that information is going to allow you to look at your current account, look at, okay, what's my current number plus 13,000, and then what bills and what payroll costs and what rent costs and what other costs are coming out of the business in the next 2 weeks. Then you can see, okay, I've got 13 grand coming in, and I've actually only got 5 grand going out. So if we're in a tight spot now, we should be in a net positive cash flow over the next 2 weeks, as long as these things hold to be true. So then, this isn't even in my notes, but then you just make sure that those things happen. Okay. Number 3, this is the third thing that you can do when you're in a tight spot financially. And this is not something that should be a common occurrence inside your business. And this isn't even something that I feel confident recommending. I think I'll probably get some backlash on this, but it's something that every business has faced at some point in time, and you have to learn how to maneuver around it. So there are some vendors that you need to pay, right? And you need to pay them immediately. So you need to pay your rent immediately. In my opinion, you need to be able to pay your payroll immediately. Those are things that you always need to have cash in your account for: rent and payroll. Non-negotiables. You can't lose your building. You can't lose your people. The other things, your other vendors, so your suppliers, you can typically reach out to them, let them know, say, hey, I know that I've got a bill that's coming due on this date. We're in a little bit of a cash flow crunch at the moment. Can I put a little bit toward it and then, pay it 10 days later, 15 days later? I have several things wrapping up that will be in, and I can pay it then. And so by delaying some bills, it's going to give you a little bit more of a breather with your cash flow. And as long as you're not 60, 90, 120 days late with people, I try not to ever be even more than 30 days late, but you can delay some bills to make sure that you're profitable, okay? Or that you can get back on track financially. So number 4, again, this one's kind of painful, but stop paying yourself. Stop paying yourself even if it's for just a couple weeks. And the reason that I say this, I would rather have the goose that gives me golden eggs that's still alive as opposed to the goose dying. So what do I mean when I say that? There's an old story of the goose that lays the golden eggs, and somebody saw that the goose laid the golden eggs and decided that they would just go in and cut open the goose to pull all the golden eggs out, right? Well, you killed the goose. The goose is your business that's giving you golden eggs. It's giving you income that's supporting you financially. I would rather pass on a golden egg for a couple weeks to make sure that the goose stays alive so that the goose can continue to pay me in golden eggs, right? And so be willing to cut your pay sometimes, unless you just absolutely can't, right? Unless you don't have any other way to survive. But if you can, cut your pay, let that money stay in the business to keep the business afloat. And then lastly, number 5, and this one's so important. When you're in a tight spot financially, you're the owner. You need to put in overtime. You need to make sure that you're pulling your weight to make sure that the goose stays alive, to make sure that the boat stays afloat, right? And so spending freeze, get a clear picture on your cash flow, what's coming in, what's going out. Delay some of your bills if you can. We don't want to delay rent or payroll. Those are absolute necessities. Cut paying yourself and then start working overtime. If you'll implement these 5 strategies when you get into a cash flow crunch, you will have at least 5 really great tools to get you out of that bind, to get you out of that cash flow crunch. And so real quick, a couple resources we have for you. Number 1 is our free ebook called the Handmade Business Secrets ebook. We've now had over 1,000 people read that book, so you're going to want to check that out. It's totally free to you. It's the first link below in the description. Then we have our Handmade Hero Academy program. You're trying to break beyond the $10,000 per month barrier. That program has all of the knowledge that I use to get beyond $10,000 a month. So all the strategies, all the systems are inside of that program. You can check that out below. And then lastly, if you're a woodworker trying to scale in a major way, check out the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. We're taking on probably another 15 or 20 clients. We're going to shut the thing down, keep it around 40 clients. And so with that being said, hopefully this video was helpful to you. If so, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear how this is helping you maneuver through challenging times in your business. So with that being said, love you. See you in the next one.